Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Leading Crypto. It's TA Tuesday. Sorry, I'm a little rusty after the last few days here, coming off the weekend. I'm CVO Crypto, joined. Make sure you heard it twice. I'm CVO, joined by Magic Internet Money here, and we are Leading Crypto. We're going to go over basically the almost same exact areas we've been in, but get a little update as to where we are on Bitcoin, Ethereum, DXY, SPX. Just kind of see what we can anticipate for the remainder of this year, some key levels to kind of keep an eye out for, and just some good old true and blue TA. So if you do enjoy our content that we provide for you Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, be sure to like and subscribe. We jump right into it. So I'm going to pass it right on over to Magic Internet Money to get us started off.
All right, right on. We'll get the screen share going here and we'll knock this out. It's a pretty quick one today, guys. So not much to really talk about because not much has changed. So you can see that we've got our caveman level 17,212. That's going to be kind of an all-important key area. If we summarized it a little differently, we've actually done this on stream before. There's just a lot here that you've got to see claimed. And if you do, you can start seeing those levels to the upside that everybody's been talking about. In this case, we're talking about the December open. So you can see that at 17,148. Another level you could throw on there if you wanted to is going to be the weekly swing fill pattern at 17,174. So you've got like three levels here in this little zone between 17,148 and 17,212 that you're going to want to see claimed. And that's not to overlook 17.5, which is just above you. So you're really kind of just littered with resistance right now, all the way up to 18,118, right? So to the downside, very similar levels as well. 16,611 was a weekly low from a few weeks ago. Kind of just operating right now as like just a local breaker, I guess is the best way to put this. It's also an old biweekly caveman pivot. So, statistically speaking, on an average basis, it does carry weight. So you're really waiting for resolution of 17.2 and 16.6. I think if you resolve this 16.6 to the downside and you start seeing that move, it's a fairly easy range to get. I think that you probably will be looking down to like that 15,800 area. I believe it's right here, 15.8. And for anyone that's been following along in our fun folder, we had this shark, right? And it has played out really, really nicely. And then we were looking for the potential of the next target, which is going to be the 886 at 15,772, backed up by the 15,744.50 daily, down at the bottom of the range lows here. So that gives you your next target. My only concern with a move like that is if you go back out to the daily, because we are going to look at a couple other things, you run into the issue that this really doesn't make sense to just be a higher low support. This is all my opinion. So if we make it this low, guys, it's one of those things where if you start seeing this move down, I think that there's a good chance you're just going to take the overall low. Now, whether or not you take that as a swing fail and you move back above it, or you come all the way down to these broader targets, and it's something like a move like this, this is only to illustrate how that move would look on paper. And it helps us identify the area of resistance to the upside right here. So you can see you're just using the pivot points from that structure to kind of give yourself invalidations to work off of. So you can see that 18,118, that daily swing failure pattern right here, we'll kind of highlight that, was the last level that was given if you can get above 17.2. Don't want to overlook 17.5, of course, the bottom of this box, but 18,118 is the daily closing level that we need to see for a change of behavior on the daily in terms of an impulsive move to the upside. And if that happens, you kind of start throwing this whole idea out the window and you start working off of something else where you're looking for that gold pocket up here again, which is also the old range point of control, right? So very, very simple stuff at the end of the day. And we've covered this fairly extensively in group over the past few weeks. So you can see your old POC here. You've got that going on. And then the confluence is going to be this 1-to-1 move right here at 19,199. So you've got a nice 1-to-1 there. And if you take a look at your trend-based gold pocket, it's just straddling that daily swing fail at 18,118, really kind of highlighting that this is still resistance and you have to flip the top of the range to make this move. So for me, anytime you come back inside the range after a move like this, I like to think that the overall range lows are going to get tested. It's also in the setup for that shark we just looked at where the PCZ was here. So to me, I'm still looking for lower prices because price just has not done anything to justify the move up yet, and that begins at the 17,000, call it 200 level. Getting above that, that's going to be the key, area to be back above. And even if you do, you got to think you've got the gold pocket locally, low to high right here on the quarter two low at 17.5. So if you see a test into this region or even 18,118, you still need to see it coming down to the 17,200 area, in my opinion, and remaining, there's support. Now, if anyone watched the FOMC meeting that I did on Sin City Crypto a couple weeks ago, this was the day actually right here. I said 17K would be a pretty important area to hang on to, and that we'd likely close the month in that region. Just from a statistical average standpoint, there's just a lot here to kind of like hang around. So I wasn't really looking for the Santa pump. I called this the Santa rally. And I'm not really looking to dump out of this region just yet. I think that we'll be in this area for a couple of days still, but I would expect some kind of a resolution here really, really soon. One of the things I like to look at for that, I know people like volatility metrics, whatever it may be. I don't really use any of those because I just haven't found them necessary in my personal experience, but that doesn't mean they're not useful. It's just not something I do personally. If we take a look at the weekly timeframes, this is something that I will do. Is I'll turn them on, and if you look at how tight this last range was, right? This is, just like here, tight range, big expansion, basically hit both ends of it. Same with right here. Eventually, when this breaks, I think it's going to wipe out both the downside and upside potentially. So I think on the move, you're going to want to take some profits either way. If you're short for the downside, make sure you're paying yourself. If you're long to the downside or long to the upside, pay yourself. As all good things do eventually come to an end. So if we get that move down here to like 15.7, take a little off. Understand that if we break the range lows, the next targets are down here in that region everybody's been talking about, and you can hold some for that, but I wouldn't hold all of it. I would make sure that I took care of myself first, because I think that's the most important thing to do in that situation, as this is a trading channel. So you'll never hear me not tell you to, pay yourself along the way. That's just something that we don't get it too much into. SPX wise, we had some boxes we were working off of right here. There we go. This was our box. This was our target off of our shark. And then this was the box we said that you'd have to really be living back above in order to, not get macro bullish, but maybe look for a challenge above the quarter two low. That's all based on the fun folder yet again. We had a really nice shark we were looking for. We could start looking at this in terms of a pitchfork. And we've got a new pitchfork template. Hopefully you guys can see it a little bit better. I think the colors are more conducive for you. And you could just trade this as a channel if you wanted to. And you can see that it does come in down here at the new lows. So for the bottom of that. So you're at support right now. It was expected support. This was the first target of the shark, which is the 50% and the B leg. Also, you had the 2021 open here and the quarter four pivot. So this is support until it's not, but you do need to see it get underway to the top side. And the reason this box is so important isn't just because it's got that 2-year key level there. If you start looking at all price action, from the last 2 years, the last year, the last 6 months, where's your POC at? Right here in this box. Need to get this area flipped and then need to make our way through that quarter one low. But, this is going to happen first. You're going to get that 39.23 flip. Then you're going to see that move to 41.14. In stock market terms, that's a really good day. So if this support can hold, this is the area just above us we have to get back above. And I know it's not that far. So people are like, that seems like a really small range, but that's what we're working with right now. So should you start breaking down from this region, the next target, just like with Bitcoin, the very same pattern, right? Back to the fun folder. We're looking for the 886 down below the Q4 open, which is untested. The quarter four open is, and I believe it's an untested monthly level. So if you were to go out there, this actually would be an area that we'd be looking for. You could see some support there. You really do have to hold that as support. Otherwise, I think that you are going to see this gold pocket in 2021 pivot that is untapped still. And I think the trend is still down last I checked. right? None of us are expecting that to change. Yeah, everything is hunky-dory in that department. You can see also if you break out of this box right here and start making your move up, you are getting out of your regression. And we'd be looking for this to maybe make a move. And, the move could get fairly out of hand. But again, not worth talking about until something, change behavior-wise does happen. So, that's all just very, very much so speculation. I don't think I have anything else, man. This is a very quick one. I don't know that the fun folder has anything else in it. Yeah, Corona time, again, just a reminder, we're looking for the next pivot in the middle of February for the stock market. So that should also bode accordingly to Bitcoin. But yeah, otherwise, I don't have anything. I'm going to turn it over to CVO and let him do his thing on Ethereum and the altcoins.
Fun folder.
Yeah, like that's what, dude, the fun folder is packed.
Fun folder is always packed. All right. Cool. All right. So yeah, pretty similar area with Ethereum as we have really just kind of coasted sideways. There's been some potential, short-term positions that, someone could have had, coming into this last night, aka 7 p.m. when the new day opened. Obviously, we had some really nice. I think we had some Daltons across the board where we had a pretty decent move to the upside right as the day was coming to a close yesterday. We opened up the new day outside of all the ranges, so very similar for Ethereum. But aside from that, just on just taking a look at this, I mean, this is a 5% window here for Ethereum, which that's like a 2% window for Bitcoin from Thursday the 22nd. I mean, this even dates back pretty much all the way back to like 2 weeks ago. But for almost a week here, we've really just been bouncing around within a really small window here. So what are we looking for, right? So I'm taking a look at a couple things here, right? You got pretty much you running down. We do have a new untapped weekly that we just front ran just a bit. I would imagine we are probably going to come down and see this. We have the same with Bitcoin at about 16. I think it's like 711 that we just front ran a little bit as well. Getting a pretty decent little bounce. Whether or not it's met, is yet to be seen. But something like this is one of those times where we talk about something getting front ran. You start building in the long positions, right? So everybody starts jumping into, the market, assuming that, that was the bottom for at least the current move here, because everybody is anticipating a little bit of a push up. And everybody jumps in long. Where they're going to put their stop loss? Well, just below this little wick, just to potentially come up, hit the VWAP, something of that nature, come down, actually meet the untapped weekly, and then realistically you want to see that reclaim for the move up, effectively knocking out everybody in that trade if that's what's going to be had here. But this just something to kind of keep note of, something I'm monitoring at the moment. But we do have, like I said, the untapped weekly just below us here, like 1202. It's an area to kind of take a peek at. We did have our daily open, so for today, a run up, basically, like I said, you spiked higher as we closed yesterday, come back down, closed below, lost a VWAP. So essentially that was a short idea here. And from that, what could you have been looking at, right? So we have our previous range right here, where we essentially also did just basically rotate it to the high right as we came in. So at a daily open perspective, you came in, closed back below the overall range value area high, closing back below your daily open, lost your VWAP. This was definitely a short opportunity. And, along the way here, you got point of control, you've got the EQ, you have the untapped weekly that we did front run. So to be fair, and then essentially, you could target even overall value area low. And we do have a daily down here at 1185. Aside from this, as far as any upside at the moment, you really want to come back up and reclaim this daily open. We do have our previous week high, which comes in right about 1238, right? So this is kind of in line with another idea that I'm looking for here on ETH if we get it in the short term. And just kind of, breaking it down a little bit by little here. So in the interim, the levels that we've been looking at are still really relevant. So we got the month open up here in this region, this gold pocket in the 0.5. However, I have to imagine, if we're going to see anything out of Bitcoin up to potentially 17.2, 17.5, these areas are definitely going to be, met for Ethereum. I say definitely, but you know what I mean? There's a high chance that we're going to at least see these regions. This would come up and effectively take this, a little high right here. But I really wouldn't overlook this 0.5, right? So the 1251 region, because essentially what that would do right? Let's just get a little pretend here, right? You got a bunch of longs entering right now. You come back down, you knock them out, you tag the weekly, you come up and you actually come up, and what are you doing here, right? You're meeting the 0.5. You're going to, effectively wipe out previous week high. So anybody that's shorting all of this, right? Because I still lean that we will probably see a little bit more downside and actually come through and meet that untapped daily down by $1,000, possibly, potentially sub 1,000. So anybody that's building, short positions late, because really the short was off the monthly up here, right? 1350. But anybody that's just been building while we've been kind of coasting sideways, would effectively be stopped out. And then we could, reevaluate and see what things are looking like at that point and potentially have a move down from there. But either way, short term wise, this is definitely some price action that I'm not anticipating, I suppose, but I'll be looking to see if this unfolds, I guess, right? So, so the previous week kind of aligns with that as well. And then if we take a look at our higher time frame here, right? So our overall range that we've been in for quite a bit has actually shifted down. Originally, the point of control was up at this golden pocket. So essentially, like I said, this was one thing I was hoping to kind of leave naked at the time because it would have been a really nice target to come back up into. However, this is developing, so it's dynamic, so to speak. So it does still have some time to adjust and move. It's like a moving average until the end of the month here, but it has shifted down, right? So one thing to note though is that we've been obviously creating our point of control here. This is where the majority of volume has been taking place now. Not much more though than basically back up at this region. So you see how the high volume is, essentially maybe it's like 2% higher now over here. So you're getting the point of control shifting down. But I would still give a lot of credence to this region. So, and it's now the value area high, right? So the 1275. So it does come into that gold box territory. And essentially what we'd be doing here, right, is you came in, ran into the low, come back into this region, you'd be rotating the range to the high, and that's all you'd be doing is just a range rotation. So something to be aware of, up at this gold, once again, the gold pocket and the 0.5. If we throw on our high time frame regression as well, you can kind of see where we are now. It's, that's not to say that this is gospel. Once again, like you can wick through and, shoot past and things of that nature. It's just something else to kind of stack on, just kind of get a little bit of, confluence as you go. But where the high comes in at this moment is right around that 0.5 as well. Once again, taking out the previous week high. So just kind of stacking on, the confluences across as we kind of go. And for me, I still have to lean. That's the short-term stuff, right? Low time frame. We'll kind of zoom it out to the 4 hour now. But, taking a look at our bigger range at play, you can see that we're really just barely holding on to this Q2 that we've been looking at. And it's really that 1221, 1224 region. Obviously, has been a lot of support and resistance for the entire year here. Gone over this quite a few times. And the more that we live below this, the more that I would anticipate coming down to these levels, right? So we do have a daily level down here, which is, pretty much been ran through, but it is, going to at least probably offer up a small bounce or some potential support if we come down to it. But the bigger play for me would be to see now that you have both of these, because essentially you came down here, you never took this low, right? So you built up a lot of new positions, stop losses just below both of these now. And these date back to November. So coming down is something, this untapped daily right here. Like I said, I've been looking at this one, and I would anticipate that we just blow through here a bit. Not to say that we just blow through and nuke through, but we probably aren't going to just stop right at 1,031 turn around, right? One of those reasons is that, this to me is more of a target if you're going to be in a short position on the downside, and then it's your potential entry once you get the reclaim, right? So this is not an area where you want to preset. Because more than likely we're going to shoot through and potentially go to like 960, 950. You'd be either stopped out right away or you'd be underwater, and potentially this does just continue down. So you'd have to really monitor how things look at this time if we get it. But at the moment, I do anticipate coming down here, right? Unless we start living back above some of these areas. 1230 is a big one to start living back above. And then obviously, it's basically 1350, right? 1350 is the next one. Then we got the gold pocket. This would be a nice, probably easy move up to about 1455. And then if you can flip that, then we're probably going to challenge up towards 1760. But at the moment, doesn't look like that's going to play out. We are being held down pretty well around these regions. And like I said, there's a lot of gas right here in these 4 areas, right? Come down and take that. We did the exact same thing right here. You came down again. You didn't take the low. So now you got all these new positions. And this dates back all the way to June. So, when you think about those market makers and, taking the liquidity from the market, this has been a long time coming in. So many traders, and I use that term loosely almost because it's just anybody, right? Anybody just throwing on along for the first time ever. They're not catching these bottoms, that's for sure. So what are they doing? They're probably loading up their position maybe in this area, and then potentially, in this middle area, and then they're going to throw their stop loss right below here, and it's going to be pretty tightly right below there because you can't give up much more space, right? So if you're entering a position right here, and you got a stop loss 7% away, you're probably going to keep it just below that 6-7%. You're not going to put it 10% away, 15% away. So that's why a lot of times you'll come through and you'll see this like just a brief little peak higher because people use a lot of high leverage, unfortunately. But yeah, something like that would definitely wipe out everybody dating back to June. Obviously, the main low would still be intact, and then potentially we'd have a nice little bounce out of that. So it's still really what I'm anticipating in the higher time frame here, like in the next couple of days to weeks. And then, like I said, there's going to be intraday opportunities as we come through it. There's a lot of, even though we've been, ranging within 5% on ETH over the last, whatever I said, like week and a half. I mean, it's this area alone has just been, pretty choppy to most. But honestly, it's actually put up a really simple trades quite often. It's not to say you need to take every single one of them, and most people won't be able to anyways. But if you have a game plan in play and you wait for some new data to come out, we get a new set of weekly data, you get a new set of daily data all the time. And if you can be patient and wait for the confirmations of things like daily opens, weekly opens, VWAP, daily pivots, I mean, there's definitely trades at hand all the time. So we'll see if my little idea comes into play here, where we just front ran this weekly, push it up to the VWAP, get the rejection. Now we come back down and actually take it, stop out anybody that just entered in this region. And then we run it up, stop out everybody that was going short over the last week and a half here, potentially hit 1251, potentially even 1274. And then, if we get the actual move down, would be the poetic justice, I guess, is what I'd be looking for here. So, yeah, I think that's about all I got as well. Matic, I did just want to touch on Matic because I looked at it last time. So Matic is one that, it's got a lot of attention over the last 2 years. And same thing is just like a potential, just not that this once again is not gospel. I just drew this up for obviously easy reading. But potentially we came back into this old range here. And at that point, you are targeting your point of control as your natural target. Will you get there? It's always it's probable, but it's not 100% guaranteed. So this is kind of like what Magic was saying. You have to take care of yourself along the way, because you could very well come, somebody could be looking for a trade and be only looking to, take profit 100% all out at the point of control, and you turn around at this gold pocket, right? You got a nice entry. Let's just say you shorted the overall range high. You bring it all the way down. This could be like 15%, 22%, but you know what? I'm going to preset. I'm only selling outright at point of control. You come down, bounce off that gold pocket. You actually come back up, break the range and move on, give up all your gains and actually realize that as a loss. That is a really good example of that. But, at the moment, though, I'm, anticipating potentially a move back up to about, 85, 86 cents. So potentially like 10% move up. And then I am targeting these regions down here, potentially all the way down to this untapped daily is 53 cents. You got the range low at 32. And if things get really hairy, obviously you lose range. We got some levels below us there, but this has been my region of, fresh entries, right, for a while. We never actually got it back in when we were looking for it, when it first kind of kicked out of here, which was July. So we shot out of here in July, made our way up. For me, this is a spot idea, right? Just probably a swing trade over the course of a few weeks to months. Yeah, I'd be looking to kind of collect back in, start DCAing, I guess, so to speak, at like 59, 55, and potentially at 32. But we'll see if we get that. But this would be in line with, the idea of a little push higher out of Bitcoin, Ethereum. And then if altcoins are going to take a beating, that's a big drop, right? 40%. And the sad thing is that I've looked at almost every altcoin I've tracked for the last couple of years here, and they could all give up an easy 30-40% here. Over the next coming weeks here, I suppose. So everything can give up 40% anytime, I guess. But when you look at something like this, like the reasoning why behind it is that, we're entering old ranges. You're coming up, you're going to have potential resistance right here. And then if that is in tune with a potential drop out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, then, you gotta kind of be prepared for that. So this is definitely a time to strategize, like I said, like me, I've picked my areas. Whether or not that's going to be where we bounce out of and just go back up, is the question. It's this definitely a DCA. This is not a short-term leverage position with a tight stop loss. This is going to be something I pick up and I hold for a few months and potentially will be underwater for a bit. Yeah, so I think that's about all the time we have for you guys. We'll try to just bring you a nice little 25-minuter on this lovely TA Tuesday. So we'll see how the remainder of the week kind of finishes up for us. Obviously, it's the end of the year. So we do have some really exciting times ahead of us as we're going to have some new yearly information, things of that nature coming as well. Do you have anything to add before we finish up, Magic?
Nope. Don't do anything stupid, guys.
Don't do
or do. I don't care. It's your money. You can do whatever you want with it.
Don't do anything stupid. That's it. If you are interested, once again, the Leading Crypto Discord server information is down below. If you'd like to join, we have our website on here as well. You can kind of come through and get a glance at what we offer in there. The Academy, we're actually adding in a PVA candles into the Academy today. Some reviews in there as well. And for the rest of the month here, so into the end of the year, if you want to go to membership plans, we are offering the first month half off to give it a try. And just go right here to the monthly. There's going to be an area to put a discount code, promotion code, and that code is BTC22. And that'll allow you to take off half off for the first month. Give it a try. Aside from that, everybody, just don't do anything stupid or do. That's our word to the wise today. So until next time, everyone, enjoy your morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in this beautiful world. And until then, cheers. Cheers, you filthy animals.